Hi there. Alan Reece with the law firm of Frank and Kraft, sitting here today with John Kindred of Right at Home in-home care. John, how you doing today?
Doing great. Thank you very much.
So tell me a little bit about what Right at Home does and how you help folks.
The easiest way to think of our type of company is we turn a home into an assisted living. And what they do in this assisted living, they'll fix your food for you, they'll do your cooking, your housekeeping, your laundry, and they will also help you bathe and get you to bed, get you dressed, and whatever level of care you need, we'll help them with that.
Okay. And is Right at Home, is it a new company or have you been doing it for a while?
Actually, we're going to be 11 years old in about 10 days.
Oh, that is remarkable.
Yes, it is.
And do you serve do you serve all of Indianapolis or do you tend to focus on a certain geographic area of the city?
My particular franchise focuses on the south side of pretty much below Interstate 70 down to Johnson County, then parts of Morgan County, and then parts of Shelby County also.
Okay. And can you give me an example of a person that would be a typical client for you, the typical sort of situation you see that sort of requires the non-medical care in the
Okay.
home?
Well, you can actually look at it from two different aspects. One is either your physical abilities, you lose those, you can't walk anymore, you have trouble with your strength, or you'll have cognitive impairment, which is what Alzheimer's is. You lose your ability to think. And so when those start to kick in to any degree, then we can come in and help. That would be like if somebody has fallen, broken a hip, they need to use a walker maybe. And so they might not be able to get up and down steps. They might not be able to get out of bed like they need to, or have trouble getting up from a couch even. So we could help them with all those things too. The most common type of cognitive impairment would be Alzheimer's. I think everybody's familiar with that.
Sure.
And that can be just slight degradation to their ability to think to severe. And so we can help them with whatever they need. A lot of the time we'll come in and we'll give medication reminders. They might forget to eat, they might forget to bathe. So we'll come in and maybe just a little bit of care to help care for them.
Okay. Is this the kind of service that people are going to have to pay out of pocket for, or are there other ways that care can be paid for?
There are many different ways it can be paid for. A lot of it is done by private pay.
Right.
There's also, if you're a veteran or your spouse was a veteran, there's some programs out there such as the Veterans Aid and Attendance Program that can
Sure.
help defray the cost of care. There's Medicaid waiver. The Medicaid waiver simply means you take a waiver to stay in your home instead of going into a nursing home. You want care in the home.
Sure.
And then there's also a program with the state, and somewhat limited. It's called the Choice Program.
Right.
The other thing I would throw out there too is long-term care policies have a big place here too.
Sure. So if you have a long-term care insurance policy, often there is a benefit for home care that's in that policy. Also, if you are eligible for the Medicaid waiver or the VA, there's a lot of different ways that you can take advantage of this service.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's correct. That's correct.
Can you help the folks who are watching if they're trying to find someone who provides in-home care? What sorts of things should they be looking for in a provider when they're trying to find someone to help out, either themselves or their loved one?
I would first make sure they're licensed, and the license that you're looking for our types of company is a personal services agency. There are some companies out there, they call them registries, where they'll just put people in the home and they're contractors. So make sure they have a personal services agency license. But once you get into there, you're interviewing people, companies, I would ask them how they select their people, because the people are the backbone of what you do. You want to make sure that they're screening them very thoroughly. You want to make sure that they have liability insurance, they have workman's comp insurance. If somebody gets injured in the home, workman's comp and your liability insurance will cover anything that goes on there. So those are some of the major things. We are very selective in who we hire, and the biggest thing we do the normal background checks, such as the state police check, that's required. But the biggest thing is making sure they have very good references. You want to make sure that they've been able to hold a job and they've worked for somebody for a couple of years. And you also want to make sure that the references you get are valid references too. And I say that because we've had people try to get us to call a friend. They'll give us a cell phone and they'll portray themselves as so-and-so nursing home, yada, yada. So I would say references are the biggest thing that you can do to make sure you have good people in the home. So if you're interviewing an individual, get good references. But if you're interviewing a company, dig into how they select their people. We do unannounced drug tests when they walk in the door, so we want to catch them early on if they're doing drugs.
Gotcha. Anything more generally, anything our listeners should keep in mind as they go about this process? Uh, Things to keep in mind as they're looking for care providers, but also other sorts of resources that are out there for them to take advantage of.
Well, I would say there's a tremendous number of resources out there. And that's one of the things that we try to do is when a person will call us, we'll hear them talk about some things that we don't control, but we know there's somebody out there that can help them. There's several agencies that are really good with that. I'm going to mention SACOA, which stands for Central Indiana Council on Aging.
Okay.
They're in the phone book. They administer the Medicaid waiver program. They do nursing home screenings, but a big part of what they do is offer advice. So if you have any questions, that would be a really good starting point.
So it sounds like your organization, your company, not only provides a set of services, but also acts as kind of a source of information and other resources that are out there that may not be something you provide, but are there in the
Absolutely.
community to take advantage of.
Absolutely. And many times we are the coordinating point. You may have a home health company come in, which is doing therapy. You may have visiting doctors coming in. You may have to get them to the doctor, and we become a coordinating point for them. So, yes, that's correct.
Got it. John Kindred, we're sitting with John Kindred of Right at Home in-home care. Thank you for sitting and joining with us today and educating us a little bit about it. And thank you too at home for joining us here at the Elder Care Channel. Take care.